Well, I guess it's now the official start time. Hello, everybody. I'm David Murphy. Welcome to the Dixie District Leadership Academy web design class. And as a way of introduction, again, I am the webmaster for the Dixie District and the Rocket City course. And we have with us today webmasters from 4 different chapters, and Miss Jennifer Champagne from Choir Genius. She will be presenting for an hour here in a few minutes after we get through with our basic introduction and what we're doing today. And then after Jennifer, I'll have Mark Virtue from Harmony Site joining us. He will also have an hour to talk about Harmony Site, which Big Chicken course. I think that's what y'all use, and that's what I use. And so we've got a couple that are using, we got one using Choir Genius, one using Harmony Site, one using WordPress, and again, Nathan, what was it you're using? Just a template?
No, when I became president of the chapter, I reached out to a friend of mine who hosted websites. He designed our site in basic HTML.
Okay, so it's a
not
custom
even
site.
it's not even WordPress.
Okay.
So, and I use a free program called Composer to do the editing.
And just to, and Steve, you said you were using Dreamweaver.
No, as far as the chapter website, it's done by another guy who doesn't have a lot of time, but it's a WordPress.
Yeah.
It's a WordPress website.
But you're using Dreamweaver to do your newsletters.
Right.
Which are sent out via email, which is basically just HTML code embedded in the email, and
right,
it looks very nice when you receive them.
Well, right. I mean, I'm using Thunderbird, which gives you a good HTML insert.
So if you're looking for, I guess, information on custom stuff, this may be the wrong place, because other than me getting some general information from you and doing some research and helping you find something, this is mainly going to be about how to use, just general web design look and feel, what kind of information is on a website and should be on a website, the behind the scenes stuff that goes on a course's website, the membership side of it, which is pretty nice from both of the providers that are the major providers. And just as a way of how many people use this in the Dixie District, we've got 22 chapters. And the last time I looked, 6 of them are using Choir Genius and 6 of them are using Harmony Site. So, I mean, it's split evenly. And then the rest of them either are using Facebook for a couple of them, no website, or custom stuff, either through WordPress or other templates, or just custom made from scratch. Okay, well, that's the basic intro. Again, what we're going to cover, I have some tools that I have pulled up that I like to use, and let's see if I can share my screen now. And I don't need to share audio, so I'm assuming you can see my screen. Yes?
Yes. Yeah, I recognize it.
Yeah. Well, one of the first things I want to start off with is just our Dixie District website. There's in case you didn't know, a little bit of information about how the district is split up. Our leadership tab has all the officers and emails that you can get to them, and a little bit of the history, who the presidents have been, etc. And I'm just going to speed through this. What is Barbershop? I think just about everybody has that on their website. What is Barbershop? And some of the more detailed things, what services are provided by the leadership, the different officers, the different vice presidents or whatever. If you want to know about contest and judging, we try to keep all this stuff as up to date as possible. Something for marketing and public relations, etc. And then another thing that this is one of the things that took me a long time to get in here. I have all the the chapters and the courses in here and their websites, and even have some more information, I think, if you click on them. I tried doing all the chapter registered chapter quartets as well. It's a little harder maintained because it's constantly fluctuating. And some of them are self-populated, like the Augusta chapter has all their singing Valentine's quartets on their harmony site. And because this is a harmony site, the two are linked together. So whenever they have a quartet on their website, it shows up on my website unless I go in and change them individually to not being public displayed. And I'm thinking hang on, am I logged in on this website? I am not. So this is the public view. One of the nice things, and I'm assuming since I don't have admin privileges for Acquire Genius site, on the Harmony site, and Jennifer, I'll let you pop in anytime you want to share a piece of information. On the Harmony site, I have the ability to, once I've logged in, change how I'm looking at the website. And I'll show you that real quick. So up here for Harmony site, I can look at it as member of the public, a member, a chapter representative, or the webmaster. So if I went back to public, that means anything that I was looking at, like the quartets, would just be the public view. And eventually I'll go back and hide those singing Valentine's quartets again. And then the other things on this particular website are the latest news, which for Steve Wixon, this is how I publish newsletters for my chapter, but not for the district. When I do the town crier for the district, I have to use a publishing tool. The equivalent to Illustrator for Apple would be Pages, not quite as powerful, but that's what I'm using. So, but for the Rocket City Chorus, I would just go in and I would paste basically source code right here in this window, and it would have that whole newsletter format, and then change it back from source to normal view, and then it's just a regular like Word editing. I'll show that in a little bit. Calendar. I struggled under COVID conditions to keep anything on our Dixie district calendar. Matter of fact, 1 week ago, there was absolutely nothing on the calendar for 21. So well, other than the Leadership Academy. So I got the Leadership Academy on there. I've put, what are the other events? Because there's two ways to look at it: event calendar month by month or upcoming events. And as you can see, I have the virtual midwinter, our Dixie District Spring Contest, whatever it may be, is still on the calendar for now. The international, and then the fall contest. And in case you didn't know, the fall contest, that date is set, and it will be at Oxford. So I don't think that has changed. And archive information, the awards and recognitions from years past, contest results. I mean, all that goes under this documents and media link library for all the different things. Photo gallery. There'll be a lot of photos from Mr. Tony Nichols here. I think I only went back a few years. 2016 is as far back as I went back. Very tedious work to get all this stuff loaded in there. The Rebel Rouser, in case you didn't know, there used to be a quarterly print production glossy magazine that Dixie District put out, and it has since been retired, but those archives can be found there. And then the monthly newsletter, which, as you can tell, we haven't published one since February of 2020 because nobody's sending information in. So that's a quick run around the Dixie District website. I've also got bookmarked Choir Genius's website. I've got Harmony site pulled up. I've got the Rocket City chorus pulled up. Let's see, Music City, which I'm a membership of. That's a Choir Genius site. I've got them pulled up. They have a lovely donate that is very prominent. That's because they did that Christmas program that was sent out by BHS worldwide. And everybody that did one of those was driving traffic to their donate. And now I can't do my tabs. Hang on. There we go. Keyboard shortcuts. Big Chicken Chorus. I got y'all up. I took a look at yours. Latest news. Y'all don't have any latest news like a lot of people. Chattanooga Choo Choo Chorus. I got y'all.
I really like that photo. Trouble is, it's 2008, really out of date, but
it may be out of date, but man, what a photo! What an iconic piece of history.
That was a district photo.
Yeah,
because everybody got to take their thing, but we're the only ones that are.
Oh yeah, I see the risers.
Choo Choo.
Yeah, the Chattanooga Choo Choo Chorus standing in front of the Chattanooga Choo Choo. Let's see, I got the Crimson Pride Chorus. And I got the Appalachian Express Chorus. And then I've got some tools pulled up that I use for my job because I don't have a subscription to the Adobe suite of tools. I use free tools. And one of them is a pixeler photo editor that's completely online, that is similar to Photoshop, that allows me to do things like, and this right here was this picture. It was built in Pixeler, and it's multiple layers. It's a picture from our last contest of the Sound of Tennessee with a text overlay, both crediting who it is and the Dixie District, and then another layer that has the logo. So that's one of the ways. And this is a banner, and it's a rotating banner. So there's more than one of these that'll float through. You'll see, I think you will see a close-up of some of the our quartet champs. Let's see if I hit refresh, if it does anything. Nope. It's going to make me a liar. It's not going to rotate through the banners. Okay. I'll have to look into that. This is one of my biggest tools, and it's courtesy of Tony Nichols. This is where I get my source photos. And matter of fact, there's the Sound of Tennessee Chorus. That's where I got it from. He's very good at coming back and posting his pictures to his Smug Mug website. And whenever I'm looking for something to update the website, hey, you even caught a picture of me there. Looky there. That's because I was in the Joe Barbershop course that opened up on that Saturday. But yeah, and I see some other familiar faces there. That's our folks from the North Georgia. They are, I think that guy mentioned he wanted to see the video of this. And oh yeah, there they are, North Georgia. That's the other folks that made an inquiry. I'm looking at my time. It's 1 o'clock, and this is the time I said I was going to turn over to Jennifer. After she gets through, we're expecting Mark Virtue. Jennifer, I know we're supposed to take a 50-minute break, and I don't know if that's everybody takes the 50-minute break at the same time. So I'm just, when I say you have an hour, that's part of that. The 10-minute break should come at the end of your time. So let me stop sharing so you can have the ability to share. And I invited Jennifer and Mark because I wanted somebody to be able to showcase these web hosting services and the things that they can do that even I don't know that they can do. So Jennifer, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Please introduce yourself and don't forget to share your screen. And thank you for agreeing to come and participate. It's always great to have somebody who knows the ins and out of these tools to be on board for one of these classes. So thank you for coming and being part of this.
Right. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to come and be part of this. I really appreciate it. I'm going to just quickly tell you a little bit about myself so you know who I am and where I'm coming from. I am a 31-year member of Sweet Adelines International, so not a new barbershopper. I'm really a barbershop addict. I'm also an associate member of the Barbershop Harmony Society and an avid attender of said events. I especially love going to your international competitions and hearing the unbelievable singing from quartets and choruses there. It's always just an absolute pleasure and joy to be there. I also work for the company called Groupinizer, and we used to call our product Groupinizer as well. And then a few years ago, we had some major improvements and changes to the platform. And so we decided a new name was in order, and that's when the Choir Genius name came in. So it's Choir Genius, but still powered by Groupinizer, the company that Tom Metzger, who is the base of Real-Time Quartet, one of your championship quartets, he started working on that software back in 2003. And by 2009, he had built the platform and was ready to release it. And we have choirs and choruses from all over the world, church choirs, professional choirs, large choral groups, symphony orchestra, choruses. So not only barbershoppers, but all of us that work at Groupinizer, Tom, the CEO and the creator of the product, Charlene, who is our head of our support team and the most incredible support person ever. She is also a barbershopper and been in Sweet Adelines for many, 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 many years. And of course, myself. So all three of us are barbershoppers. And that's, of course, where the product has its roots. And we do give generous discounts to Sweet Adelines, to Harmony Inc., to Barbershop Harmony Society, to the groups over in Sweden and the UK. So we're very supportive of barbershop groups. So there is an annual or 2-year or 3-year discount available to any group. And then on top of that discount, there's another 20% that we give to anybody from our barbershop organizations. And we like to help our organizations to be successful. And that's why we do that. As far as, before I carry on from there, do you have any questions just generally about me or the product or the platform or anything that you'd like to know before I move forward? Okay. So Choir Genius is, you're not going to see a lot of difference in public-facing sites between any platform. So they're all fairly similar and offer, especially when it comes to the kind of boxed products. So yes, if you're going to build your own site using very advanced tools, because you're a programmer, you could probably do more things than you could with a Harmony site or with a Choir Genius site. But as far as products like ours go, the public-facing sites are very similar. So the features that David showed, where you can go and look at your public site and then go look at your members-only site and switch back and forth between them, that is possible with either of those platforms. So I'm going to share my screen for you. And I'm going to just ask you if you can see the tabs once I do this. So if I change tabs. So right now, I believe you're seeing the public website of my demo site. Is that right? And it says the Westminster Chorus.
Yes.
Great. And if I click here, do you see the Choir Genius site?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So we'll just back up here a moment so you can see the faces of the three of us who make the core of the company. We do have other people working in various areas for us. Developers help Tom with creating new features and things like that. Charlene has support people helping her when needed if the demand is high and she needs help, she definitely has backup people who can help her out with that. And I'm kind of my title is relationship manager, and that is because I do sales, but I also am available to help people basically anytime. So if the office is closed, but somebody wants to do something with their site and they're not sure what to do or how to do it, they can always reach out to me. And if I don't know the answer, I will go and get it for them. So that's the three of us. And then from there, we have teams that help us with marketing, that help us with coming up with new ideas and things that might be useful to the various customers that we have. The things that kind of define Choir Genius, or the things that I would say to people when they say, well, why should we choose Choir Genius over other options? The things that I would feel really set us apart. And the first one is what I kind of feel is the most important one. And that is how the data is stored and how secure it is. So many of the choir management platforms, all of the data is in a shared pool of data. So they're not individual sites. Whereas a Choir Genius site is a private individual site that's hosted on Amazon Web Services servers. So your data is your data. It's not shared in a pool with any other customer data at all. And I'm sure you all know about Amazon Web Services, how completely reliable. Since we switched, and this was now years ago that we switched over to Amazon Web Services, we've had 100% uptime. They are super reliable, state-of-the-art servers backed up regularly. And with every Choir Genius subscription, you get a week's worth of backups every day, daily backups. So if somebody who's a site administrator on your site makes a mistake, which we all know can happen, they can back it up and put your site back to where it was before that error was made. And that's a really important feature. If I worked in office administration for many years, and I know I made a few mistakes along the way, and having a backup is a lifesaver sometimes. So that's a really important factor that I think is kind of an invisible thing. People don't see it. Where is everybody's data stored? How safe is it? How secure is it? But that is, to me, a very important factor. And it's why one of the main reasons that my chorus, and that's something I didn't tell you, is that I sing with Lionsgate Chorus. We're a big chorus up in Vancouver, British Columbia. And we've used Choir Genius / Groupinizer since almost virtually day one that it came available. And this is one of the reasons why we chose it and stuck with it, is this fact that our data is private. It's stored on its own separate platform. A second feature that is kind of important. Does anyone have questions about that? I should stop and ask.
I'm just thankful I've never had to use the backup and restore feature.
Me too.
But grateful that it's there.
Yes, it's an important thing. Very important thing. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing that I would say is pretty important, and I just gotta get back to where I was here. Is there any limit on data storage? A lot of platforms that are available for choirs and choruses to use, you get so much storage and then that's it. So with a Choir Genius site, as long as what you're storing on your site is related to your chorus, there's no limit. So you could have documents stored in there. You can have photographs stored in there. You can have as much music, as much music learning tracks as you want, and they are all part of your subscription price. So you don't have to pay more as you're adding more and more data to your site. And that's an important feature. The fact that we have a separate support team. So our development team does development, and that's all they do. Our support team is its own entity with Charlene at the helm, and that's all they do. So they are dedicated to support. And I think that's really important in a couple of ways. One being that there's someone available who is knowledgeable at all times. And also that they're not busy doing other things. So they're not building the new features or having their focus elsewhere. They do support, and that's what they do. And when I say someone's available at all times, is Charlene in the office 24/7? No, she's not. She's there Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. But part of my job is to be there if there's something that needs attention outside of those hours. So, people can come to me, send me a message or call me or email me and say, I'm working on this thing. I need help with it. And the office isn't open right now. Can you help me? And I will, on the weekends, whenever I look at my communications and have notifications for my communications from Choir Genius coming up whenever they come in, so that I can pay attention to those. We also have a Facebook group called Choir Geniuses, and we didn't create that Facebook group. It is a group of Choir Genius customers that created that group, and they are very interactive with each other and always brainstorming and helping each other to figure out the most effective ways to do what they want to do using the platform. So I love that, because it's a very friendly way of doing it. It's a collaborative way of doing it. Tom and Charlene and I are all on the group as well, and answer questions. If we see something pop up and we think, oh, I can answer that, we do. But it's really cool to see our customers answering questions for each other and working with each other to make the most.
Hey, Jennifer, let me pop in there. That is fantastic. And I know that's available with other folks too, but just the ability to pop onto Facebook with a user base, everybody that's using it, people who have experience using it, and people who have found ways to, ingeniously work something that they wanted using the tools that they have. So I would say, if you're challenged by something and you can't quite figure it out, that would be a great place to go to, because maybe somebody has also hit that roadblock or that challenge and has figured it out and can share that wealth of information. That's fantastic.
It is. And it's great to see people working together. It's very, it makes me feel good in that regard, that people are being collaborative with each other and being cooperative with each other. And probably because of the way the world is right now, that is a real highlight to me, that those people are, sharing their knowledge and being friendly and caring towards each other. It's a great environment to be in. And the last thing that I always mention to people is that because our development team is a separate team, they can focus only on the product itself, making sure that it works as effectively as it should, fixing any issues that come up. And of course, with technology, there will always be issues. So, you need strong and qualified tech people whose focus is, let's make sure this platform works and works the way it ought to. Often I hear from people that Choir Genius is less intuitive or more complicated than other things. And I would agree with that, in that I would agree to that with a caveat. And the caveat that I would present to you is that it is a more complex platform. And that is why it has a more of a learning curve if you want to use absolutely all the features that are available to you. However, if you want to use the basic features that most people use on one of these platforms, the calendar, the email list communications, the music library, and being able to store your music there and access your songs and PDFs of the music and things like that. Those things are just as simple to set up on an Acquire Genius site as any other. They're very basic parts of the features. Charlene is always there to help. Data can be easily imported and exported, also important, so that you can keep copies of your things anywhere you want to. You can easily add new music or on a new site, import your entire member list, your entire music library, not one song at a time, but by importing it. And that's very, very useful for saving you a lot of time. Now, I'm going to just ask if any of you have any questions about the platform, Acquire Genius, anything you'd like to know about it, see about it, and so I can kind of tailor what else I say beyond what I've already said to what you might want to know.
Does it tell you how much you have to pay for copyright fees?
Well, I don't think it can tell you that because that is song specific, not, but you are allowed to have a rehearsal copy of your music. So if you print out a PDF and write all over it because you don't want to write your notes about interpretation, choreography, any number of things that you might want to be jotting on your music while you're at rehearsal. As long as you have a legal copy of the music for each and every member, it is okay for members to have a working copy that they scribble on, that they work on. You just have to make sure that you're abiding by those copyright laws, that each member...
I thought you could no longer have those second copies, markup copies. Because we threw a whole bunch of them away.
Well, I think the intent is that they should be destroyed once you're done using them for rehearsal purposes. So that they would be for rehearsal purposes only, and then they're meant to be destroyed. You're not to then start handing them to people that you don't have a licensed copy of music for. That's my understanding. I'm certainly not a... I'm not a copyright lawyer, so I certainly couldn't say that I have the definitive answer.
It's not a question for this group.
It is a good question, though. It does allow you to track how many copies have been downloaded, if it's important to you.
I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so, too. Anybody else have any things they're really longing to know or would like to see?
I have, like on your music dashboard.
Yeah.
I have struggled with making the music that I want appear at the top of the page.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that is has to do with the weighting of the music. But I don't mean waiting as in standing in line. I mean waiting as in how it's prioritized on the site. So if you want to change that, I would suggest a couple of things. First one being talk to Charlene, because she's a great resource. I'm going to put my email address in the chat, because then if anyone should have questions later on for me, they can contact me, or for Charlene, or for anyone. And we also have a support site, which is really great. And you can find how to do almost anything at that site. So I will also put that in the chat. You could probably very easily get an answer to your question there.
You just can't just drag it and drop it where you want it.
I think I think you probably can, but really Charlene would be the person to walk you through what the fastest and easiest way to do that. She's much more knowledgeable about how to use the platform than I am. I'm much more knowledgeable about, or probably not more knowledgeable than her, but my knowledge and what I spend my time on is the overarching platform, what it is and what it does. She more knows how does it do it. So if you're thinking, well, this is, there's got to be a better way, a simpler way of doing what I want to achieve, Charlene is the person to ask. And you can always email support at Groupanizer as well, and they are there to answer questions for you. Now, I saw we got our 10-minute warning, so I'm assuming that my time is almost up.
No, that's not your time. That's the official break time for everybody.
Right.
I sent a message to the Melinda, who's organizing this, to make sure we can continue without having to break at that specific moment. We will take a break whenever you're finished.
Okay.
But you just continue and plan on, and if it changes, I'll let you know.
Okay. And since we're talking about the music library, something else that we have, someone created a great app that works with our music library, and that it's called Playback Genius. And it's awesome because it's very sleek and just links with your music library on the Choir Genius site, so that members can listen to their music through that app if they want to. And a lot of people, you don't need the app to listen to your music. You can download the music from the site onto your device and listen to it anytime you want. You can download or play it directly from the website. If you're sitting at home and you're on high-speed internet and you just want to listen right from the site, you can do that. But a lot of people just love to have that app. And so Marcy Jones, another barbershopper, she developed this app, and people love it. And they use it to practice and, in the car, listen to their music or whatever they may like to use it for. Anything else you'd like to know about it? Anything you'd like to see? I'll share my screen just back to the demo site so that you can see that. And that might also, so there's the support site I talked about, and you can see here. So if I want to know more about the library and how to use it, I can search that, and it's going to find me all kinds of viewing your music, importing and exporting to the music library, changing the music categories, tracking learning progress for your members, if that's something that you do. A lot of barbershop groups, because we're competitive groups, we do like to track the learning progress of our members and be able to evaluate their progress on learning the songs. And so that's something that you can do using the site. And then, of course, here's where this is set up for a site administrator. If I was logged in just as, Molly member, or in your case, maybe Martin member, it would have less menu items. So this is a very advanced menu. That's because I'm currently logged in as the site administrator. But if I were just a member, so as not to overwhelm, you can make this menu for your members on the left-hand side very simple. My music, the dashboard where people see all of the basic information that you want them to see when they first log in. You might have polls going for your members. You might want to feature some upcoming events, remind people to learn their music and when it's due, things like that. The music library is easily accessible, and this will show members the music that's assigned to them to learn. And you can put it into categories and or by show or any way you want to organize it. And then, of course, we've got a nice calendar where we can see a list of all the upcoming events. And we also have a master calendar so some groups have smaller groups within the group, and they might have events that are only for certain parts of the group. So on the master calendar, you can kind of see everything that's happening and make sure that you're not overlapping any important events as well. And then you're able to have projects and tasks where you can work together as a team. And so say we're putting on a show and we want to work together on that show, and I want to assign different tasks. Someone's going to find the venue, someone's going to decorate and get all the tech equipment in for us and get it all set up the way we need it to do the show. I can assign those various tasks, and then I can follow along with people and see how they're making progress on their tasks. Now, right now, I haven't got anything set up in this demo site for this particular person, so it doesn't show any due dates here. But if I did have a project on the go, each logged in person, if they had any tasks assigned to them to do with that project, they would see them here, and it would remind them that they need to work on them. You can invoice your members through the site for their dues and whatnot. And then again, of course, you've always got your public site. You've got a store. If you want to sell your CDs, you want to sell tickets to a show, anything like that, that can all be done through your public site. And you don't have to have your public site with us. It's a very affordable way to do it. For a barbershop group, it's $129.60 for the year. And that includes the hosting, and you can build your site out, have it look any way you'd like it to look. It is template based, so there are some limitations, but the templates are varied, and you can get a lot of different looks and feels by choosing the one that you feel suits your group the best. And just like any website, you'll have, you can have your things about us, your history, a write-up about your director and your leadership, member spotlights. You can have information about the quartets that belong in your chorus. You can have a link to your district, and lots of good things like that. You can share your videos here for the public to see, and promote yourself to be hired, and do shows for people and things like that. You can have a news, and of course, the calendar is interactive with your members only calendar. So when you're setting up an event on the calendar, if it's something like a show, it's something like singing Valentine's, you can just click a little box. This is a public event, and automatically that event will show up on your public site as well. So you don't have to enter it in two different places. They work together, they talk to each other, but of course, private information staying private, and public information on the public site. And you can show the calendar of your events and what's coming up, and people can see what you're going to be doing, and buy tickets and come and see you if you're going to be in a performance somewhere. And then here you can see we've got some tickets for sale here. You can also have CDs for sale here, swag if your chorus has things like that. Is there anything here that you'd particularly like to see?
I think the break is coming up in 20 seconds, and it turns out it is very programmed, so we may be kicked out. If we are, I'll see if we can't get back in the room. If not, we'll just take a 10-minute break, whatever happens here. We'll see.
Okay. I'll stop sharing for now, and we'll wait and see what happens next.
Yeah. Yep, it says breakout rooms will close. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And now, am I intended to be here when we come back from the break?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You started at 1, so
yeah.
For me 1. So you'll have the entire hour. So you'll finish at 2. So when we get back, you'll have 20 more minutes.
Okay. Perfect. Great.
All right.
I think David, you sent out the link to my recorded demo.
I did.
So if anybody in this class or anybody at all in your district is interested in kind of seeing how Choir Genius works, I created that because I used to try to get people to meet with me online, and it was so often so hard because you got lots of decision makers. So that's there if you want to know more, or anybody you know does.
Okay, thanks.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna refill some more.
Yes, I think everybody should be back now. So the next session is going to start at 2:40 and Eastern time, 1:40 Central time, 2:40 Eastern time, and it's going to automatically put you into your rooms at 2:40 at that time.
Okay. Melinda, I sent you an email about 20-30 minutes ago, but I guess you didn't get it. We were wondering about whether we should he was supposed to pause the video or stop the video recording.
Did you send me a text or sorry?
Email.
I tried to do a broadcast message with my phone number. I don't know if everybody saw it. Some people did. Did he pause or did he stop? Was that Charlie?
Yes, I think he paused.
He paused it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to being recorded. We don't have everybody back yet. Tony,
Almost everybody.
well, and every time it does this, it changes my audio preferences. There we go.
Don't forget to restart your recording, says Melinda, but you did that already.
Oh, yeah. In a previous life, I did video work for 20 years.
You have an incredible microphone, so obviously you have quite the setup there.
The microphone is almost as old as I am. It's 40 years old.
Oh, my.
And I have it running through a little USB adapter that I can control the volume on it if I want to.
It has a very nice sound.
Thank you. It's the only way I could sing bass if I wanted to, because I can get real close to it and do the bass notes. But I'm a tenor, so.
Oh, well, I'm a bass, but not a Barbershop Harmony Society bass. Although I can hold my own on some of the tags. Just depends on how low we're gonna go. I can get it like an A below middle C, and then I'm out, which is pretty low for a woman. So.
Yeah, I F2 is my low note, and you need to be real close to me to hear it.
Yeah. Well, I love singing with men because it's somewhere where I actually when I first joined, I was a lead, and I sang lead for about the first 5 years that I was in Barbershop, and I loved it. But in Sweet Adelines, it's kind of high for me. So, I love singing Barbershop with men because I can sing the lead part, and I've got the good lows, and I can carry my own there, and it's just in a really good range for me. So I love singing lead, and that's somewhere that I can do it is in a mixed quartet. So that's fun.
My dog is now sad. This is her squeaky ball.
Oh,
He was squeaking it like crazy. She's looking
Oh.
at me. She's like, "Why did you take it away from me?"
she was driving you crazy while you're trying to be on your meeting.
Well, even though Tony's not back, let's go ahead and get
Sure.
so we don't short you any of your time.
Okay,
I've got a question.
Sure, go right ahead, Nathan.
On the store, what payment options do you have for accepting your payments?
For the store, as in selling to the public, it's PayPal driven.
Okay.
It's PayPal driven. So people go through their have a PayPal account. However, people can use PayPal to pay even if they don't have a PayPal account. So if I'm buying tickets on your site and I don't have PayPal, PayPal will, of course, let me pay with my credit card, and you'll still receive your payment.
I was wondering if there was any option to do Square payments.
Well, Square is usually an in-person thing, isn't it?
Well, it can be. We've been using Square for our Singing Valentines, but people call in to place an order and they give us their card number, and then we run the card number after they're delivered.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yes, you would still do that, but Square is its own company. Like we don't offer financial services of any kind. So you could continue to do that using your Square account. And
I was just wondering if there was a way to specify connect to the Square account, don't connect in rather than the PayPal account, because I'm sure there's some kind of a interface there. Because I think you can set up an online store that uses Square.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure if that's something that could easily be done, and certainly Tom could look at that and see if that's something he could make so. If it's something you're really interested in, I think that send me an email and we'll see if that's something that could happen. So we're always open to ideas, that's for sure.
We had both Square and PayPal, but we changed bank accounts. Yeah. And when we changed bank accounts, Square turned or PayPal turned our PayPal account off. And no matter what kind of documentation I send them, they haven't turned it back on, and you can't get a hold of an actual person to talk to.
Wow.
So it's just been a pain.
That's so frustrating. That's so frustrating. That's just not right.
By the way, Jennifer, I downloaded the Play Genius app already. So
oh yeah, it's fun.
I did not know it existed. I'm logging in now, so thank you.
Oh, a lot of people don't. I think it costs like $2.99 or something, but it's totally worth it. It's really super. It's fun.
And poof, there's my music. Thank you.
Yeah, isn't that great?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. People love it. So any other questions? Anybody has anything else they want to know? I mean, I could talk forever and tell you all kinds of things that might not mean anything to you, because I know your meeting today, or your purpose here today, is sort of about your website design. And
well, I think I may have some steering if I can.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have public facing, which is what the public sees about our website, and it's one thing to have that member backstage area where you can download your sheet music, you can download or stream and listen to your music. You can get your email list for all your tenors or your basses or the whole choir or your folks participating in singing Valentine's or whatever it is. So I'm wondering if anybody has any questions, about the public facing side from Jennifer from Choir Genius using the templates or anything, or if you've got any questions about the backstage stuff, members access stuff. So if you've got any of those questions, this will be a great time to ask those and maybe get some insight on some things. Tony,
you're muted.
You're still muted, Tony.
There you go. There you go.
I was trying to unmute me on my little picture. And it didn't work too well. When I started Choir Genius, basically a few years ago, I worked very heavily on getting the music side of it done. And it didn't really have a lot of problems, but I worked with technical support to get the problems I did have figured out. Didn't work too much on my website part of it because we were split website. But at that time, Choir Genius or Groupinizer was kind of new. And they had just transitioned to the new platform. So every time I would go to look at a video on how to do something, it would be in the old platform. Go to this, you'll see this, and then you'll come down here and you select that, and then and it was kind of frustrating to me because nothing was the same as what I was seeing on my screen.
Yeah.
Has that been changed now?
Completely. Yeah. Charlene at that time was still working on the transition from the old support to the new support site. So it depended on what you were looking for, whether you were seeing the new or the old, because she was still tweaking and taking the information from the one place and making sure everything was in the new one. And she didn't want to get rid of the old site before she was fully confident that the new one had everything that it needed to have, because at least with some information, even if it wasn't completely. But now the support site that's at support.choirgenius.com, that is all the new information now.
Okay, that'll be good. I mean, I'm very grateful, turned over the web part of it to our new marketing guy when he came in. And I have been solely responsible for the music side. And other than just a very small few places, everything works great. So
And if there are any problems, you know, always go to Charlene, because she's amazing, and she'll either tell you simply, oh, this is how you can do that, which almost always she knows. And if it's not a thing you can do, she's pretty straightforward about that too. She might say, well, it doesn't exactly work that way, but you could do this and it would achieve your goal. And so she'll often offer you another way to do what it is you want to do that you didn't realize the platform could do.
Yeah.
So she's a great resource, and she's always she's very personable. And I usually start by chatting with her through the chat feature through the site, because she multitasks on there and she's quick to get back to people through there. And I've even had customers, you know, set up a little session with her for her to give them some training. And she will do that. If there's something specific that you want to do and you're like, well, can you walk me through it? You know, she'll make a time with you and give you some personal time for that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I have a question, because I've not got to see this part of it yet.
Yeah.
Does it have like event tracking and who's going to show up for events in the backstage area?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So I'll share my screen again here. Just give me half a sec.
Well, while you're doing that, also, if you can talk about how to get old codgers to take advantage of those features.
I'll address that too, because that's for Rocket City, which you know, uses another site, but you know, our director just drives it. He says, I need you to go in and indicate your availability for these rehearsals and these events. So we require it, and then if you don't respond, our section leads will contact you directly and fill it out for you if you don't respond.
Yeah, something that can be really helpful too is to drive people to make that change and to get on board, is if you can find a way in your particular group to make it feel like people are missing out if they aren't on there, because people don't like to miss out.
Yep.
So if you make that it seem like a thing that is exciting to be there, that you're missing things if you don't go on to the site, people will. And if you make the culture that we use this, and all the people who are on board for it use it, pretty soon the stragglers will just be like, oh, you know, I can't see what I don't have the information. It's like, well, you do have it. It's here. And eventually they do get on board. So to go to the question about events. So if you are in here and as an administrator, and you go to the calendar and you add an event, so you can just click on the little thing there and it's going to pop up and you're going to be able to start typing. So you could say, you know, our great show. And you can say this is going to be a performance. And you can pick your date and time that it starts and finishes, or if it's an all-day event, you can click on all day. And here's where you can, of course, enable attendance. So this is a show. Obviously, we're expecting that all our members will be attending. Now, if this was a board meeting rather than a performance, you might want to just invite your board of directors. You know, it depends on what type of event, who you're going to invite. And then you can also, if you have groups, you know, you want to invite a section, it's a section rehearsal, something like that. You can do it that way rather than here where member would be everybody. If you want just the basis, for instance, so you would invite the group. And you could also, so say we're having a bass rehearsal, but the tenor section leader is going to come and demonstrate how to use your head voice better, how to use your falsetto better, something along those lines. You could invite that one special person who's going to be presenting at that meeting to be there as well. You can put your location in, your place, and it will even populate it on a Google map for you so that you can see the map pop up on the right-hand side, and people will see it. So if it's a show and you click down the bottom here that it's a public event, that map will also be showing up on your public website if you have a Querigenius public website. And you can even say, I want it featured. I want it to be really prominent on that public page so everybody's going to see it and know to come to our show, buy tickets, come. Then you'll see here there's a members only section. So this is so that you can define between what's public and what's not. So in here, you can tell people to get there early. You can talk about things like carpooling, parking, all those little things, where to get dressed, who's in what dressing room, all those things that you kind of need to know in the background. You can put that all in here, and it's not going to show up in your public site, but your members are going to be able to see it when they're logged in, and they're going to have the information that they need when they click on that particular event. And you can even put attachments on here. So if you've got a map to the parking area and a particular area people are supposed to park or things like that, you can put them there. You can choose an image, make it look all pretty for your public website, and you can even attach things for the public if you want to, and put any information you want the public to know there as well, and that will show up on your public page. And then when you're all done and you're happy with how it looks, you click on your save, and then you'll see when you go to the calendar, a finished event is going to look. So here we go. We've got a CD release event here. So we're going to go take a look at that, and you'll see it's got where it's happening, when it's happening, who's invited. All the members are, all 20 people in this case, a small chorus that we're working with right now. You can take attendance. You can mark your attendance here. Will I or won't I be there?
Excellent.
And you can also, if you have the right level of access, and that's role-based. So if you're a site administrator, if you're an event manager, something like that within your course, you'll see this attendance tab, and you'll be able to see, okay, who's coming? What have we got? Have we got a balance? We got 18 people coming. We got 4 altos, 4, in our case, it would be also obviously tenor, lead, baritone, and bass, and we would see how many of each we've got. Is it balanced? Is it not? I can look at the specific people, like who said they're coming and who said they didn't and why. And I can and after the event and after I've taken attendance, I can even look at who did and did not actually come to the event. Did they come for the whole event? Were they present? Were they partly there? Were they absent for the event? And if they were absent, why were they absent? I can put a program of music that goes along with this event. So you can see here, we've got some emceeing at the opening. We're singing a song. This will tell me how long is this program going to be? When does it start and end? So that I know I've got a good balance of time. And you can do this for your rehearsals too. So your directors or your section leaders or whoever can know the order of the evening and what's going to be happening and where they have responsibilities. All of this is associated with the various events. So there's a lot of information in here, and your specific question was about attendance and can we track it? And absolutely, yes, we can. And we can even say, well, you know what, we've got we have 20 bases in our chorus and only 4 of them have responded. So that's not enough. We need more bases. So we can say here something like that. We can type in here, please respond. Will you be attending? And here you can see I don't have to bug everybody. The people who've already responded, I mean, that's irritating, right? I already answered you. Why are you asking me again? So it's set up so you can just say, just only send this to those people that haven't responded yet. And then you can choose no, don't reply. It's just a reminder only. Or if you're going to say something like questions, reply to me.
I need to jump in here. We're about out of time for your time.
Just about finished. Okay. Well,
so if anybody has any questions, let's go ahead and get those in. And
I'll stop sharing my screen and come back to you here.
Excellent.
Can you run reports off of that for the events, maybe to show what members have attended, what events, or even what numbers have we done the most? Do we need to retire a number from our repertoire and add something new?
Yeah, you can do all kinds of things like that. You can see the history of attendance. You can see a summary of attendance, which shows upcoming events and how many people are planning to be there. So if you see a night where you got like only 8 people are planning to be there, well, why? What's going on there? And should we be taking a night off because we don't have enough people attending? So it's great. You can get a quick sort of overview visual of things, or you can get drill down and get a little more specific and see the who is coming and who isn't.
That's one of the great things about these chorus driven template website hosting services is that back end stuff. The front end's great, but for me as a member and a board member, the back end is where it's all at, tracking the membership, tracking attendance, the music, the sheet music, the downloads,
absolutely,
even invoicing. I saw that as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really great. So
it's really the whole
when their dues are up. So
yeah, exactly. It's really the whole purpose of a platform like this. I mean, anybody can build a simple public website. That's a lot easier to achieve than something like this, where you want to be able to kind of really interact in a meaningful way with everybody in your chorus or your district or your organization around the world or any of the above.
Okay. Well, that's our time with Jennifer. Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Mark is fixing to join our group. So everybody give her a big thank you. And she's given you your contact information. You'll all have that the demo email that she sent out with the videos. If you ever have any questions, go to these folks and let them know. Thank you, Jennifer.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'll say goodbye for now. And thanks again for inviting me. I very much appreciate it.
Awesome.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. And what great timing. Up next is Mr. Mark Virtue from Harmony Site. And that is another web hosting service. And Mark, just as an intro, we've got Steve Wixon from the Chattanooga Choo Choo course is using custom WordPress. Brent Waters is from the Appalachian Express. Did I get that right? No, Big Chicken.
Yes.
You're the Big Chicken. They are a Harmony Site. Tony Nichols is from the Crimson Pride course in Tuscaloosa. They are a choir genius. And then Nathan Goodwin is from the Appalachian Express, and they're using a custom site. So, and then I'm from Rocket City, and I'm using a Harmony site, both for Rocket City and the Dixie district. Mark, welcome. Thank you for being part of this. We are recording the session. We plan on publishing it on our Dixie district YouTube page, unless you have any objections, and I give you the floor. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, David. I appreciate the opportunity to be here talking to you guys. Yeah, I'm Mark Virtue from Harmony Site. We obviously are a competitor to Choir Genius, Scribbonizer. We're based in Australia and have been doing this sort of thing since 2001, when the first Harmony Site was created. I noticed that you guys are all muted. David, I'm hoping that there can be lots of sort of questions and answers. I'm actually going to open it up for questions right now.
Yeah, it's just a courtesy to, in case there's background noises, cats, dogs, children. So
who is the person that unmutes people? Do they do that themselves? Or?
Everybody does it on their own.
Okay, fair enough. Great. So before I actually get started and show whatever it is that needs to be shown, I just thought I'd open the floor to any questions that you gentlemen might have beforehand about Harmony Site, how it works, what it is, where it came from, what its capabilities are, its pricing, anything like that that you would like to know. Please shoot those questions through now, or you can hold them for later, whatever you prefer. Dead silence, eh?
Well, that's okay. I will interject just a little bit. We just finished a discussion about both the public facing side of things, you know, the website that, you know, our general public sees and the features of those things. But then we got in a little more in depth on the, you know, the member access side of things, like, you know, music downloads and the PDFs for the sheet music, membership tracking and attendance and all that thing. That's one of the things we just kind of talked about. And I know Harmony Site does that as well. So, and I don't know if anybody has any questions about that specifically, either the forward facing or the back, you know, the membership side of things. But I would at least like for you to showcase some of those tools, just like our other lady did. So please go ahead.
Yeah, I assume that when you say you've been talking about it, you've been talking about it with respect of Choir Genius, yeah, or Groupinizer?
Yes. So, or just in general too. So I mean, because the ability to track things and download things and is almost as crucial, if not more crucial, you know, for me as a member, than the public facing, because I mean, this has become a tool for our chapter to use internally. So
absolutely. I mean, without the all the functionality of the members area, the Harmony Site would just be, you know, just another public facing website, which you can get from any provider. The specialness of Harmony Site, and of course Groupinizer, is that they are specifically designed for the needs of choruses. So as far as I'm concerned, the members area is, you know, is the iceberg, and the public facing website is just the tip of that iceberg, the bit that you see above the surface. But most of the functionality, most of the interesting stuff is in the members area, as I'm sure you are probably all aware. Harmony Site does, the public facing part of Harmony Site comes for free. I don't know what Choir Genius is doing. I know they used to charge for a public facing website. I'm not sure if they do anymore. But in Harmony Site, it's all integrated. It's all part of Harmony Site, the members area and the public facing site. So you actually have to specifically request us to turn off the public facing site if you don't want it, and have just a members area to go with your existing website. Perhaps you just don't want to lose your existing website, you like it too much or something. I recommend that you do include your public facing website with Harmony Site if you get one, because there's a couple of advantages of having both. There's some neat integration features between the members area and the public facing site, which I can go through and show you. And also it's cheaper. Obviously, you don't have to then pay for two separate websites to be hosted by two separate companies. You would just have the one website, which is Harmony Site, which does everything for you. And it's not just the website, of course, it's also emails, and even text messaging can also be done through the website. David, would it make sense just to jump into a sample Harmony Site now and just run through some of the features? Or
sure. I mean, it's your time. You have 50 minutes in total. I will warn you, there will be a mandatory break in 27 minutes for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So it'll break up the middle of your presentation, but you'll have until the top of the hour.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so I have a screen prepared, I think, somewhere. If I can just have a look at that. Yeah. All right, so back to screen sharing. All right, that is now shared. Can people see that just fine?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great, thank you. So obviously that's just the Harmony Site website itself. That's not a Harmony Site. I'm just showing you this. So if you want more information, you can just go here to harmonysite.com. And we've got all the details that you might need. If you would like to sign up for a free trial, there's a free trial option here on the top right. We offer a 30-day free trial. I suspect Choir Genius does as well. So you just would click that link and complete the details. You just got to put in your name and your group's details, and then click the send button. We'll have a trial set up for you same day. Anyway, so I don't really need to show you too much about that website anymore, because that's just an advertising website for us, of course. This is an actual Harmony site. This is Sound Connection's Harmony Heights. Sound Connection is my own chorus here in Australia. So I'm in one of these photos somewhere if you could be bothered looking. And this is the public-facing part of that website, of course. So now, as public-facing websites go, it's pretty standard. It does everything you expect it to do. It's got, you know, latest news and upcoming events on the homepage. It's got a nice opening slideshow. There's lots of different pages available for the public to view. These all come as standard as part of your public-facing page. If you don't like them, you can turn them off, you can hide them, and so on. But these are all pretty much as you would expect from a public-facing chapter website. And of course, you click the members link there to go and log in. But before I do that, let's just go to, let's say, the event calendar, because I want to outline one of the ways in which Harmony Site's public-facing pages are actually well integrated with the members area and intelligent in their own right. So, for example, this is our event calendar. Sound Connection is suffering from COVID just like the rest of the world, so we don't actually have any events on at the moment, but I've created one, this little one here, test event, which is color-coded to be a performance, as you can see there. So I'll click on that. Actually, one of the things I should mention is that in the event calendar, this event calendar is a public-facing page. It exists as in part of the public-facing version, component of Harmony Site, and yet the calendar shows events that are obviously visible to the public. It also shows events that are only visible to members, and can even show events that are visible only to administrators. But the event calendar page is clever enough to only show you the events that are relevant to you when you're visiting the page. So members of the general public who visit the calendar page will only see public-facing events that are visible to the public. Whereas if you then were to log in and return to exactly the same page, but now you're logged in, you would see a whole new set of events, the events that are visible to members as well. And if you logged in as administrator, you'd see events that are only visible to administrators, if there are any. There probably aren't, but you get the general idea. So I can't show you that at the moment because we don't have any events in the calendar except the one I created. So, and that's a public one. So you just have to imagine that if I went away and logged in and came back, there might be 5 more events on this page that were only visible to members. Anyway, I won't labour that point. We'll click into the test event. And here's the details of the event that you can see. I've decided that tickets can be sold for this event, and Harmony Site has its own built-in ticket selling mechanism. Anyway, the event details are fairly straightforward. You get a map, and down here you've got a little blurb about what the event is for, and advertising it to the people, your ticket buying public that might want to come along and see it. But as you can imagine, it's fairly straightforward. There's not much to it. So what I want to do now is log in, then come back and see how that page changes when you're viewing it as not just a member, but also as an administrator. So I've logged in. That takes me to the members area page. We'll come back and look at that page in just a moment. There are lots of interesting things there, but I want to go back to the test event that I created before. So you can see how this page is different now. The first thing you'll see is this set of events across the top of the page here. Those are administrator links for me as an administrator to make changes to the event or delete it, to attach files to it, to email the event out to all the members or any subset of members. to create more events just like this, repeating events that are the same as this one. Manage the tickets that we're selling for this event, or a couple of other bits and pieces like create a program for the event, create an audit for the event. An audit in Harmony Site language means some information that you might want to gather from members about the event. Maybe like how many family members are you bringing, or any question that you might like to ask your members before the event takes place. That's what we call an audit. So that's what they are. We don't have any for this one, of course. Anyway, let's look at the event itself. This page has changed a little bit since we just last looked at it. Because we're logged in, we can now see whether there are any committees or teams associated with the event, what are the rostered members on duty, what time do performers have to meet, blah, 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 where to meet, what uniform to bring, what else to bring, the songs that we're going to sing in order, and whether any of those songs require assessment, which is performance readiness. That's what we call performance readiness. We call that assessment. So that's all there. Then we've got a whole section on attendance and availability, where members can indicate their attendance. They can indicate their intended availability by selecting from a set of options here. I'm actually not required to be at this event because for whatever reason, I'm not included on the list of people that needs to be on this event. So I don't get any choices here other than my attendance is not required, or I'm going to come anyway, I will be attending. But if you were part of the set of people that were required to be at this event, you'd see a whole lot of choices here, like I am sick, I'm on holidays, yes, I'll be coming, sorry I can't make it. There'll be just a bunch of options there. Options which you can actually adjust yourselves. You can change the list of options available there. So I'll go into the attendance system in a little bit more detail in a moment. At the moment, I'm just finishing off what's showing on the event page. And of course, we've got the map as before. Now down the bottom, we've got a comment section. So members, logged in members only, can comment on this event. The comment section is available for pretty much every type of item in the Harmony Site database. So not just events, but also bulletin board posts, news items, newsletters, suggestions, songs. Members can make comments on just about anything and have little discussions on the website with other members about those things, which I don't need to go into now. Has anybody got any questions at this point? Raise your hand if there's anything you want to say about any of this. Brent, yeah, go ahead.
Not a question so much, but just something that I have learned with your site that has been very helpful for me. We were talking earlier about how do we get people to, our members to actually use it, and the more curmudgeonly and or computer phobic. One of the great advantages that I have found specifically with attendance, since you were talking about that, is that as administrator, I can change anyone's attendance. So, like we got one guy in our choir that's 92. He doesn't use a computer, but he tells me, yeah, I'm going to be at that performance, and I just go into his thing and set him as attending. So right. That's been very helpful to me. So.
And one of the things that I do with my group is I give the section leads the ability to go in and monitor and make changes to the attendance as well. So
cool.
So they do that for the director. For those that are not responding, they'll contact them directly.
Yeah, excellent. And Brent, what you say is true. I mean, sometimes it's a bit of an effort to get people to use the site, to actually be bothered to even log in the first place and use it. Obviously, you want to encourage your members to do that because it makes less work for everybody else on the team. So we have this option here. I suspect Groupanizer has a similar option, where we get to email the event out to all the members with just one click. And you can put your own little preface here. You can say, hi guys, please make a note of the following event, blah, blah, blah. And you say, who am I sending it as, and who am I sending it to? So in this case, it's going to be the regular members. And if I just click send, which I'm not going to do because this is a test event, then each member will receive an email, a personalized email for them that looks almost exactly like this page. So the email will be an almost exact copy of the page that you're seeing in front of you now. One of the things you won't see is a Google map, because emails can't contain Google Maps, but otherwise it'll be pretty much the same. And in the attendance and availability section, there's just a set of links, set of like 5 links instead of a drop-down list, because we don't have drop-down lists in emails either. Instead of that, we've got a set of links. And the links are, yes, I'll be attending, no, I can't make it, I'll be on holidays, I'll be sick, whatever it is. And the member in their email can just do one click on their availability intention, and that will register their availability for that event on the website. So that's a really great way to get your members to respond, is to actually just send them out an email.
Oh, and they don't have to log in for that. They can just reply.
They don't have to log in.
Okay,
absolutely don't have to log in. It's just a single click for them to indicate their availability for the event. And of course, their availability for the event, which is before the event happens, is different from their actual attendance at the event, which you can only know after the event has taken place. So there's two things that we're recording here. One is their intended availability, and one is their actual attendance. They can indicate their own availability, but they cannot come in and say whether they attended or not, because they might lie or they might forget. It's much better if you have somebody just assigned to take attendance, or if you have a sign-in sheet at the beginning of the event itself, people can put a tick next to their name. We can actually print out an attendance sheet, which looks like this, and ticks go in the boxes here, and then it's a very simple matter to transfer all those ticks back into the actual website. I won't go through that now, but it's a lot less time-consuming than it looks to get all the details in. There's another way to do attendance tracking, by the way, which you guys are probably not aware of, even the ones that do use HarmonySite. You can print out everybody a badge, and you can print that out through HarmonySite. You can design your own badge and design what information is going to be shown on the badge. And one of the things you can put on the badge is a barcode, or specifically a QR code. And then when people turn up to the event, and if they're wearing their badge, then you just scan their barcode on their badge with a mobile phone, and it will record their attendance, will record them as having attended that event, which is pretty cool. Anyway, it's an option that most people don't even know about, but I thought I'd mention it now. Just one of those little things that HarmonySite does. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just quickly update the event. Not so much because I want to change the event, I just want to show you what changing an event looks like. So this screen is what you see when you want to create a new event or change the details of an existing event. And it's not, hopefully it's exactly what you would expect to see. It's just a big bunch of fields that you fill in the blanks, tick the boxes. This is an important field here. Who can see the event? Who gets access to see the event? And that is currently set to public access, but we could change it so that the event is only visible to regular members. If I do that, then it will disappear from the calendar if you're not logged in. You visit the calendar page, you just simply won't see it. But I'm not going to change that now. We've got the start date, obviously change with the calendar. Where is it? You can have a predefined set of venues. You can just nominate the venue that this one is at, or you can type in the venue details and an address for the Google map. If the address doesn't work properly in Google Maps, you can override that with latitude and longitude. Then on the public tab, this is the stuff that's going to be shown to the public if you bother to fill it in. So things like the pricing options, a link to an external page where people can buy tickets. You don't have to do that, of course, because HarmonySite has its own built-in ticket selling mechanism for events, which I will show you just briefly. Send any ticket purchase notifications to somebody. Details about
Hey, Mark, you've got 6 minutes until or 6.5 minutes till our mandatory break that's going to interrupt us. So just giving you a heads up.
Thanks for that. All right, so there's probably not much more that needs to be said about the event system. The attendance and availability system, we've talked a lot about it already. When you're, one thing I didn't say was when you're indicating whether the event should be tracking availability or not, you get to tick a box. Where is it? No, sorry, it's on the members tab. My mistake. This tick box here, request members indicate availability ASAP. So if you tick that box, then everywhere that a member looks, they're going to be reminded that they haven't yet indicated their availability for that event. I'm not required to be at that event, so I don't get the reminder. But across the top of the event screen would be a big red reminder saying, hey, you need to indicate your availability for this event. If you go anytime that person logs in to the main members page of the whole website, they get a similar reminder at the top of the page saying, hey, you've got some events that you haven't indicated your availability for, please go and do that now. And in the email that they receive about the event, they get a similar reminder. So everywhere they turn, they get a little reminder in red, like an urgent thing saying, please indicate your availability. So that's what that tick box is for. It's very useful. And as I think it was David, was it, or Brent? I'm sorry, I can't remember who said this, but you can actually, or maybe both of you, you can actually go through and indicate other people's availabilities. There's that list of options there for any member. So, and even you can even record availability for people that aren't required to be there. If they're in the member database, you can nominate them as coming or not coming or whatever. We've got attendance.
And for me, that's where when I have guests that have been coming but have not yet joined, that's where I track them, is in that section you just showed.
Right, excellent, yeah.
I have a question I'd like to ask.
Yes, sure.
I'm terrible about forgetting my questions if I don't go ahead and ask them when I'm thinking about it. But you had a place in there that basically stated that your upload area was 80.5% full, and you might need to increase that storage capability or something like that, which brought up a thought to me in comparing your site with Groupanizer. The pricing of it was much cheaper than Groupanizer, but I'm wondering what you get storage-wise for your website. Is that just website, or is that music also?
Yeah, good question. Thanks, Tony. You get 1,000 megabytes or 1 gigabyte of space, and that's for everything, including your music. The website itself takes up pretty much no space at all. So once you get a new Harmony site, your usage counter will be set to 0 or maybe 3 megabytes out of the 1,000 available. So all of that space is available for you to add images, photos, learning tracks, PDFs of sheet music and so forth. And as you can see here, which I think you mentioned, we're up to 80.5% of that allowance now in this particular one. And if you want more, we only have one option for getting more, and that is to get our unlimited storage option, which costs an extra $50 per year.
That's still cheap.
Yeah, so that's, and if you get that, it's pretty much what it says. You're not going to ever run out of storage after that. It doesn't matter how, I mean, if you start uploading, 5 gigabyte movie files every day, I might come and have a word to you privately to say, please don't do that, because I don't think our server will handle it. But other than that, you're pretty much, you'll be right. I've never had a customer go beyond what I think is reasonable for a customer to go. So it is truly unlimited. Does that answer your question, Tony, or was there more?
Yeah, when we're through using music, it just goes into the old file category to be pulled back out when we use it again. And I've got a lot of music on my site that's uploaded.
Right.
I couldn't tell you how much is up there, but we pay significantly more for our Groupanizer site than what your pricing shows. And I was curious. I have a church choir that I might be interested in having them look at this this site, because this would be along the lines of what they might look at also.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Harmony site is obviously quite applicable to regular choirs as well. It's not just for barbershop groups. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that probably more than half of our client base is non-barbershop. So it is suitable for choirs. It's also suitable for orchestras and bands. It's even suitable for non-music-based groups like Rotary clubs and stuff like that. We've got a few industry associations and other organizations that use Harmony site that don't have anything to do with music. It's pretty much just if you've got members and if you've got events, then Harmony site's probably suitable for you.
Well, let's take a moment and pause, because this break is fixing to happen in 10 seconds. So,
okay, great. I'll see you guys at the other side of that.
And what's going to happen? It's going to put us back into the general room, and then after 10 minutes, we'll come back.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, actually, we have a full minute left, so you can continue talking if you want.
Well, David, I'll ask you, since you went through the Groupizer presentation. Do you find that that Harmony site does pretty much everything Groupizer does?
Well, I really don't know. I have member access to Groupizer through another course, Music City, and from what I can see, you know, and I really don't want to get into a side-by-side comparison, especially, you know, with our hosts. But what I can see, the basic services are all about the same. It's just the nuances and the pricing, and, you know, maybe some custom things that one does over the other. So, I mean, they're both very powerful, very member-driven.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I just chose Harmony for when I was looking.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll share screen again. Okay, I assume everybody can see that screen again. Please let me know if you can't.
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, and here we are on the main members page. This is the page you end up on when you log in. If you are an administrator, you will see an admin link in the top right-hand corner and a couple of other little things that you might not see if you're a member. Otherwise, the members see pretty much everything on this page. The main set of options and the main set of places you can go is these icons on the left-hand side. But this is the dashboard, so you get to see snapshots of other things like upcoming and recent events, assessments, which, as I said before, is performance readiness. So which songs are nominated to be assessed. So I'm supposed to be assessed on each of these songs, and the status of each of those assessments, upcoming birthdays, latest comments. So you get the general idea. So what I thought we might look at first is the member database. It's obviously an important part of the system. Actually, because you guys are part of Dixie District, one thing I should mention is that Dixie District, as you are probably aware, is also using Harmony site at the moment. And one of the very cool things about the Harmony site system is that if your district is also using Harmony site, then your member database is shared between your chapter and the district. What that means is that if you make any changes to your database, like your add new members, remove members, change their email address or their whatever, change anything about a member, those changes are reflected instantly at the district level and vice versa. So if they make a change in the database, that's reflected at chapter level as well, because it's the same database. And a similar thing applies to events, quartets, and the chapter itself. So what that means is, I mean, you think, well, okay, great, but so what? And what that means is, of course, that there's much less admin traffic between you and your chapter and the district. You don't have to advise your district that there are changes made to some member or some event or the chapter itself. You don't have to tell the district, because once you put it into your Harmony site, the district now knows about it automatically. So the more chapters in the district that use Harmony Site, then the less admin work the district has to do as a whole. So I'm pretty sure that's something that Quiet Genius doesn't offer. But as David said, I'm not really here to compare the two platforms, but that is a pretty cool thing about Harmony Site, which a lot of Sweet Adelines are using, by the way. A lot of Sweet Adeline regions are using Harmony Site, and Harmony Incorporated, Harmony Inc., almost all of their areas are now using Harmony Site, and I'm now in discussion with Harmony Inc. itself at an international level to switch to Harmony Site as well. So the entire Harmony Inc. organization will be all purely Harmony Site, which is pretty cool because that'll save them a lot of admin work moving forward because everything's connected. All right, sorry, enough of that. So this is our list of members, and it's just a simple list, as you can see, but the list doesn't have to be displayed as a list. You can also display it as a set of photographs, which looks like that. And also you can display it as a map, which looks like that. And that's actually me right down the bottom there. And everybody else lives a lot closer to the blue pin, which is the rehearsal venue. So that's pretty cool to be able to see where all your members live on a map like that. It's also ways to collate all the emails and do email to all those members, or again, you can export the members to a CSV file and do something with that in Excel. Anyway, so this is basically the member list page. We can click through to any member. I'll click through to my own member, which is here. Browse our existing sponsors. Anyway, I'm digressing, of course, but yeah, so the sponsor details come up here. There's a couple of different sponsors and I'm one of them, but that's where those details are shown if you enter them. Learn something new every day. Before I move away from the member database, were there any questions about the member database? How it's tracked, what you can store there? Any questions at all, gentlemen? No? All right.
15 minutes. We have 15 minutes left for your session.
15 minutes, all right. That sounds about right. That's enough time.
Okay, thanks.
So we'll head to the song library now, which of course is probably one of the three main sections that's important in your Harmony site. The members area, the member database, the event calendar, and the song library are probably the three most important things. So these are the details of every song, current or historical, that your chorus sings or sung. Some of them, as you can see, are archived. If you want, you can rejig this page so that it doesn't show archived songs, it only shows active ones. That's up to you. Or you can say, show me this list broken down by status so that I see all of the active ones separately from all the archived ones. So you can do that too.
How are you what is the distinction between archived and active?
That's up to you to decide. As the administrator of your site, you can say, well, we don't sing this song anymore, so we'll just remove it from the active list and we'll archive it. So it's still there, it's still in the database. People can still go and look at it and learn it if they want to, but marking it as archived essentially says, hey guys, we're not singing this anymore.
But they can still see it.
They can still see it as long as the administrator hasn't also changed it so that it's no longer visible to members.
And I've done similar what Mark has here for this site. I've got our polecats listed as polecats. I've got our current repertoire is the stuff we're working on, or Christmas stuff or patriotic stuff. And then the stuff that, we sang maybe last year for our summer show, it's in the archive section now. So it's all available all the time.
And another thing you can do is you can create your own categories for the songs. And one thing that we've done in the past, back when we actually had shows, was to once we had a set list for a given show, we would create a category for that show. And so basically then people can, if they sort by category, all the stuff for that show bubbles to the top. so they can know these are the specific songs I really need to work on, even though the entire library might be bigger. So.
Yeah, exactly right. Thanks, Brent. So to click through onto a song, okay, so here's the song. You can see the song details on the left. You can see, if I scroll down a bit, you can see the downloadable files that are attached to this song. We've got the sheet music and the lyrics as separate files, and then obviously we've got the learning tracks, the 4 parts plus the full mix, as you'd expect. But you can obviously have more than that. You can have as many learning tracks as you want. You could have, you know, a set of learning tracks that are part predominant or part missing or stereo, you know, balanced left and right for the my part and the other 3 parts. You can have all of those sets all together. You can have 20 different learning tracks if you want, and they would all get listed up here at the top of the page, so you can actually play them directly in your browser. You don't have to download them. You probably can't hear that because I'm not sharing sound, but I don't know if you could hear that. But anyway, it plays the song directly in your browser, or of course you can download it to your computer or your phone and play it there. You can also attach, you don't have to just attach files, you can also attach videos, which is useful if you're learning choreography. You can post the choreography learning track, learning video, if you like. You can even post videos of your chorus singing the song, a great clip of you at your last show singing the song all the way through, and then that clip can automatically then show on the Have a Listen page.
Well, I'd like to interject one thing.
Sure.
One of the things that one of the courses I participate with does is for our virtual products, you know, when we're recording these things separately, our director will record himself, just him, directing each part separately. So that'd be a good place for that to go too.
Exactly right. That's a great point, David. And I haven't heard of that one yet, but it's a new one on me. So kudos to that director. Yeah. So anyway, this is the Have a Listen page, which is one of those pages, one of the several pages in the public-facing part of the website, which is fully integrated with the members area. Specifically, this video clip comes from the Impossible Dream song, which I'll flick to now. So here's the Impossible Dream. It's the song just like the one we were looking at, but you've got a video clip as well. So that's just showing you that some songs can have videos as well as downloadable audio learning tracks. Yeah, and you know, the details of the song, if you want to add or update a song, they're pretty much as you'd expect. There's nothing too surprising here. There's lots of fields to keep track of. There's the song categories, as I said, or as one of you guys said, you can actually make up those categories yourself. Again, for the song style, you can make up those categories, and even the voicing if that's important to you. Is it contestable barbershop? What's the key written in? What's the key sung in, which might be different from what's written? And what pitch gets blown, which is a whole different thing. Arranger, composer, lyricist, the tune-up process. How do you start the song? You know, the basses come in first, followed by blah, blah, blah. What are the first words so we know how to start? Tempo, duration, you know, the standard stuff. And then on the admin tab, who uploaded it? You know, again, this is all fairly self-explanatory. Is that status we talked about before? Typically, a song would be active, but when you're no longer singing it, you may change it to archived, or it could be evaluating or considering the song, whereby the music team uploads the song to the website, but they don't make it available to regular members. They only make it available to the music team. So the music team can then discuss it amongst themselves, and the status would be something like evaluating. So we're evaluating this song, and if they decide they like it, they then change the availability of that song and make it available to all of the rest of the members.
Question. So that status of the song, do you have on your list of songs where you're seeing every song that's in your repertoire? Do you have a place where you can go down there and say, change this one from archived to listening, and then the next one from listening to archived, so that you don't have to open each song, change its status, close it, go to another song, change its status?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, Tony. Thanks. No, we don't have that feature. If you want to change the status of a song, you've got to go to the songs page, then click the update button and change the status and save it. So it's a bit of a process. So yeah, sorry, that's not something we can do.
Well, that's the same way in Groupanizer. I was just curious if y'all were different.
It sounds like you have to do that quite a lot, Tony. So we have a feature requesting system that's built into the software. You can actually click a button and say, I'd like the following feature, please. And then other users of HarmonySite can vote on that and decide whether they like that too. And the features with the most votes tend to get implemented, if you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, so, and here you get to say whether this song is required to be assessed for performance readiness. You could say the song itself requires assessment, and you can even do an assessment on presentation, which you can think of as choreography. So that might be you might have to do a little one-man choreography thing to someone to show that you have learnt the choreography as well and get assessed on that. So that's the song. That's, you know, a brief overview of the song library and what that looks like. So that's the three main areas: members, events, and songs. I could show you, you know, so many other aspects of the site. Emails are an important one. And I can go through that. But because we've only got a few minutes left, I thought, are there any specific areas that you guys would like me to show rather than me just imagine and guess what you'd like to see? Can anyone suggest something they'd like to see?
Can you import your roster from BHS into this?
You can't, but I can, and I do. It's come up many times as to whether people should be able to import their own rosters, and it's just so fraught with danger. Well, not danger. It's just so easy to get it wrong and very hard to cater for every possible type of file that people might want to import. It's just easier if I do it myself. So
that's fine. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to enter them all manually.
No, you wouldn't have to do that. Don't worry about that. What we've done for every group that, well, just about every group that we've ever had come on board, is they send us their database in Excel or CSV or something similar, and we import it for them. And we do that. It's pretty much the first thing we do when we give them their 30-day free trial of HarmonySite, is we say, look, to make this useful for you, send us your member database and we'll get that in, put that in straight away. And then the site just becomes way more useful as a trial system then.
Well, I did mine manually, Mark. I can't believe I didn't take advantage of that. But, you know, it was only like 25 people, so it's not horrible. But, you know, for some of our bigger courses, that could be laborious.
Yeah, it is time consuming. It's all easy, but it's time consuming.
But it also helped me, you know, learn the tools very well.
Yeah, sure. Any other general questions, or should I just keep talking about?
I will like to point out that just like Choir Genius, Jennifer pointed out that they have a Facebook user group. Mark and HarmonySite has a Facebook user group too. So if you have something that, you know, even if it's a feature or problem and you want to ask other people who are using the site, you know, that's always a great place to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have a support team in various different time zones around the world who are always available for email support. And if you have an urgent issue, you can always call me.
It is expensive. I learned that, Mark.
What's expensive, David?
I called you once. It cost me dearly. No, it cost me dearly.
Well, we have a San Francisco telephone number.
I didn't call that. That was my problem.
Okay. Because if you call the San Francisco you guys know that I'm in Australia, right? And it's 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
I called the Australian number and it was $100 bill, man.
You waking up?
Seriously?
I did.
You need to have a word to your provider, because
I know it was awful. I was in shock when I got that bill. I was like, well, I guess I won't do that again.
No. Okay. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that.
No, so it's okay. It's on me for not seeing that San Francisco number.
Right. If you call the San Francisco number, it actually rings my mobile phone here in Australia. Marvels of modern technology, hey?
At 2 in the morning.
You can try it now if you like, and you'll hear the phone ring. Yeah, so please don't call the Australian number unless you have a really good arrangement with your phone provider.
Exactly.
Call the San Francisco number instead, and then I pay for the call. So yeah, our support is pretty great, actually. I've got to say our support team is very, very fast at responding to questions, and as I said, if it's urgent, you can just telephone me, and I will answer your question on the spot, or fix your problem if there is a problem. Did anyone have any questions about, the server or uptime, or how service works, how support works, how anything works? I mean, I can keep listing all the features of HarmonySite, but you guys might have questions that don't actually relate to the actual specific features of the software, and more like the package and the the process itself.
In the other demo that was mentioned that someone outside of Groupinizer had developed a mobile app that would allow you to listen to the learning tracks on an app on your phone. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, that's sorry, the answer to that question is we don't have that yet. That's Marcy Jones created that app. She's done a lot of work with Tom and Groupinizer over the years. We don't have an app yet. It's in development, but it's a long process. It might be another year before it sees the light of day. It's not going to be just for listening to learning tracks. You will be able to listen to learning tracks as well, but you'll also be able to do other things like enter your availability for events. You'll be able to submit riser tapes, if you like, if you call them that, or recordings of yourself singing songs for assessment purposes directly through the app. All those sorts of things. Looking up event details. The event details for all events will be in the app on the phone. So yeah, that's all coming, and it's going to be significantly more than just listening to learning tracks.
All right, we got about 2 minutes left. Anything else? This is the time to ask him.
HarmonySite comes with a full email system where you can have regular email mailboxes. You can have email addresses that simply forward emails to the member's personal email address if they prefer that. We have mailing lists, which are, each mailing list is an email address. So you could have something like, this is soundconnection.com. So you could have members@soundconnection.com as an email address, as a single email address. And you send an email to that email address, to members@soundconnection.com, or whatever it is. And it then distributes that email to all of the regular members on the list. So and you can do that from your own email program. You don't have to do that from the website, the website does have a send email page, so you can send emails from the website, but you don't have to do, if you're sending to mailing lists, you don't have to do that. You can send that from your own email program.
I will say, in using this particular tool, one of the things that I like on the sending email from the website is it puts the letterhead on it and brands it, So that's,
if you can see on the right there, there's a little, like a screen grab of what an email would look like if it was received by somebody, and it's got the logo and the letterhead and the color scheme and all that. So the emails sent from the website are what we call branded emails.
I do like that. All right, that's our time with Mark. Mark, if you've got anything else you want to say, I'll give you another minute. But we're fixing to start talking about a few things on graphic design and using some tools.
Okay, that's great. No, well, I'm done, guys. If you would like to converse with me more, you can call me, you can email me. You can email me, mark@harmonysite.com. Pretty easy one. You can check out our website, harmonysite.com. There's a lot of details there about pricing for optional extras and stuff like that.
And Mark,
yeah, anyway,
for the videos that you showed and you got into the member center, I saw some personal identifiable information. I'm going to grade that out just, for safety. I'm sure you don't want the whole world knowing your date of birth. So,
oh, that's great. I appreciate that. Thank you, David.
and the phone numbers and emails of your folks. So I'm going to grade that out. So it's not.
That's much appreciated. Thanks, David.
Yeah. Anyway, I thank you very much for joining us. It was great having you on. It was great having.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to take the time to talk with you guys. And have a great rest of your Saturday.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. And for us remaining, you three guys that originally signed up, technically we got 30 minutes left, but the timer says 58. She gave us an extra 30 if we need it. This time is your time. Anything that you would like to know or would like to see or how I do things. One of the things I thought about, I wrote down some notes. One of the first things I did as webmaster when I got it was I established a Gmail account for Rocket City Chorus, and then I established one for Dixie District. That way, if I ever turn that job over, I hand over that Rocket City Chorus at gmail.com and Dixie District BHS at gmail.com. And that's the keys to the kingdom. That one username and password is my login for the website hosting, YouTube channels, Instagram channels, Twitter channels, even my Facebook presence in regards to those, and even my domain hosting. So for both of those websites, it's godaddy.com. So that's how I control everything, is that one master login that gives me the keys to the kingdom. So when I do hand that job over to somebody else in the future, it'll be real easy to do. Member center links. If you're not aware, webmasters do have a job function for the chapter and can go in and make some edits on behalf of the chapter. If you're not an officer for the chapter, that you can ask to be set up as the webmaster on the member center, and then you can go in and update anything. For Rocket City, we don't do a Twitter, but we do have an Instagram and Facebook. So I made sure that those were up to date and accurate. And I also added the YouTube channel for those. Let's see what else I wrote down. The two things that I think that I would thought that you might be interested in, and you can let me know, is one, how to design something like a banner, that main part of the main page, just layering it with logos and text. If you want that to see that, I can show you how that's done, and it's pretty applicable with any tool. And then the other thing I thought you might be interested in is Steve Wixon, who left us. He does a weekly newsletter. I manage that right from my website, and I can show you how to do that. And if there's anything else you want to see, just let me know. Anybody got anything?
I've got just a comment, maybe a couple of comments. When we set up our Gmail account for the chorus, we left out chorus on the name, so it's just Appalachian Express at Gmail. And in the last year and a half or so, I've been getting bills of lading from other freight companies because there's an Appalachian Express trucking company as well. But another thing about Gmail that you may not know, as a webmaster, we went in and I forward anything that comes to that account to my own Gmail account. So I get it on my phone immediately. I don't have to log into Gmail to look at chorus emails.
And I will add, I don't have my video on. How about that? There we go. I will add that for me, because I can set up multiple email accounts on my phone. My phone is my main source of communication with the world. all my emails are read and received on my phone. I rarely log into a computer to read and send emails. But I have my quartet set up on my phone. I have my chapter set up on my phone. I have the Dixie District set up on my phone, and I have my personal email set up on my phone. And then I have an alternative email set up on my phone. So I've got 5 emails accounts associated with my phone. And luckily it handles all that. So when I receive something, it just replies back with the email that I received it. So if you send 8 feet wide quartet an email, and when I hit reply, it's going to come from 8 feet wide and not David Murphy. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Another cool thing about using Gmail that we use is like, we might have, okay, this guy is going to be in charge of being the point man and the guy that talks to the public for Singing Valentine's. And then this guy's going to be in charge of it for the spring show or something like that. And so what we can do is rather than have that person have to log into or have access to our main, Big Chicken Chorus Gmail account, is we set up forwarding things and say, okay, from now until February 16th, anything that comes in, forward a copy to, and then whatever that guy's name is. And it takes 30 seconds to create a rule like that, and then nuke it, and then okay, no, let's send it to this guy, whatever. So you can keep multiple people in the loop, but only in the loop as long as they need to be. So
excellent. So would you like to see banner creation, graphic layering for photos, or would you like to see newsletter, or both? Anybody?
Will this be applicable? Go ahead.
I would lean towards newsletter, but whatever the other two guys want.
Okay, I'll show both. We got plenty of time.
My question was going to be, will this be applicable to both Groupanizer and Harmony Site?
Sure, it's applicable to anything.
Okay.
It's independent from those. All right, so let me share screen. And you should be able to see my webpage, yes? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is Rocket City Chorus. I just went up here and went to my latest news, and I haven't done an update since March 14th, 2020. That's awful. But what I do is whenever because this is a formatted email, this is HTML coding, I'd always come in here. And this, I'm sure this is applicable to both sites. And I would come here to the descriptions side. I'd hit source, and here you can see all the little source code. And I just hit Control A. I think it's Control A, or is it Shift A? It's not Shift A. I want to select all. Oh well.
It should be Control All.
It should be, but it wasn't doing it. So let's try that again. Command A. That's it. I'm on an Apple.
Yeah.
That's your problem.
Yeah. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to back out of that page. And that's just so I can have the format. I'm going to add a new item, and this is just going to be for testing purposes. This is a weekly news blast. I set those options. It's not for the Dixie District. I'm going to set this as webmaster access only because I don't want the public seeing this one because this is just for our class. But if it was for public use, it would show up on my website. And I'm just going to come in here, hit view source again, and paste it as source code, and then hit source one more time. And then now we're in the newsletter mode, and I can come in here and I can change anything I want, just like any other editor. And I can come in here and add bullet points. It's going to pop around a little bit because of the window. And this is how I edit my weekly news blast every week. As I just go copy the code from the last one, paste it into the new one, and then this nice little bordered box is always the same every week. It gives the what's coming in this email, what's coming up in the next few weeks, any message from anybody. This one just happens to be from the president of the chapter. Sometimes it might be from the webmaster or the VP of music or membership. And then the director gets his little corner. This is what we're going to work on. Should be memorized by now. National anthem, Hi Neighbor, Hello Mary Lou. Continue working on all that. So, and then any other notes. So any way you want to use that. And boy, I don't have Steve's email newsletter up, but Chattanooga Choo Choo does a great job on their weekly newsletter. I've been getting it and there's Paul. Hey, Paul. I've been getting it for a while, and that's who I modeled this after. I completely stole it from Steve. So that's that. That's how you can send out a weekly newsletter. Your content is yours. If you want to steal the formatting on that, just let me know, and I'll send you the code for it. And it's just basically this code right here for this box. It is nicely coded. And then I created this banner, and I'm going to show you real quick what I did. We're switching to Keynote, and there's how I created that. I created all these little colored clouds, which are just a symbol. You can insert symbols like squares, rectangles, diamonds. Well, I found a cloud symbol, and I just layered it and layered it and layered it in different colors and created this nice masthead with our logo and some text. So and there are tools like this that will create things for you. And I'm trying to think of the name of the app. You can get it on your phone. You can look at it on website, and I have to actually look at it. Canva, Canva. Have y'all heard of Canva?
No.
All right, let me go to Canva real quick. Canva is a design site. It's free for the most part. I'm sure there's a paid part of it, especially if you use some of their things. But let's say you wanted to make something for social media, and let's say it's going to be a Facebook cover because you're doing an event for singing Valentine's. And so what this will do is create that little image that is formatted at the right size for Facebook specifically event posts. And let's see if I come in here and type in Valentine's Day. I spelled Valentine's. See, look there. There we go. So here are some, I don't see any that really make me think of Valentine's Day. Hey, Mother's Day. Let's use Mother's Day. Let's say you were going to offer Mother's Day singing Valentine, or not Valentine, singing quartet for Mother's Day. But poof, there's you an automatic template, and then you just go in and customize it. Just like any other editor that you use. So that is one tool that I have used both for Dixie District and for Rocket City. And that is, like I said, Canva. Think of Canvas without the S. But they have specific formats for just about anything you can imagine, whether it be a YouTube masthead banner, a Facebook or Instagram story, ever how you want to use your social media or your website stuff, they have something that will go right along with that. Now then, the other thing I wanted to show you is Pixlr, Pixlr.com. And again, this is a free tool. And one of the things that matter of fact, you can see I've got my quartet's name. I did a lower third for a virtual video that we did, and I put our names up in the video, and that's how I got that up there. But I did this one the other day, and let's see. I got to minimize that.
What a fine looking group of guys.
I know.
Especially that guy in the middle on the back row.
Yeah, that guy in the overalls right there with a big Santa beard. Yeah. Unfortunately, this one is already formatted. So let me try again and open an image, like a raw data image. I think it's this one. I hope it's this one. Just waiting for it to process. There we go. So there's the raw picture. And I mean, it has crop tools. So if I wanted to crop out the pictures down there and the judges down there, and just go back and hit that, it's going to crop it for me. If I want to create a new layer, I come over to this side and say I'm going to do a text layer and put Dixie District Spring Contest Update. Not that I'm hinting at anything, Paul. But eventually somebody's going to have to say something. And let's say I want the logo. So let me hit image. I did another layer, and I'm going to look for Dixie. And I hope I can find the logo easily. I'm not finding it easily. Hang on. Y'all are fixing to get a glimpse into the mind of David and how he
search for logo
and how he organizes things. So I am.
There it is.
Yeah, I think it's this one, Dixie logo. Yeah, and it's a PNG, which means it's going to come in automatically with the no white rectangular border. So it's already cropped out all the stuff. So I can take this and slide it over there, and poof, I've got a layered picture. Now, one of the things you can also do is I can come back down to this bottom layer. I can go to each layer and edit it, but the bottom layer, let's say I really didn't want to see their faces so much. And you have some tools that you can use, like any photo editor. Photoshop is the one I'm thinking of. Let's see. I want to blur their picture because I don't necessarily want to emphasize the sound of Tennessee. I want to emphasize, and poof, you can barely make out the details. And then all I have to do is, all I have to do is come in here and save it. And I can pick, JPEG, PNG, PXD, any of those, high, medium, low quality, and even specify, the size that I'm looking for. So that's one of the ways that like for the Dixie District, how I did, see, rotating banners, there it is.
Yeah.
There's category 4. Before it was Sound of Tennessee, and I just couldn't get it to rotate. I don't know why. But yeah, that's how I made all of these. And I think I made like 6 or 8. I had category 4, Entourage, Wildfire, Music City course maybe. And I was going to put Crimson Pride course, but for some reason the photographer is never present when that picture needs to be taken.
That's a problem with courses in general. I mean, if anybody goes to look at courses, my course amount of courses up there is very slim because by the time I get out, there's only a few courses left.
Yeah.
To go
all right. How can I'm at Zoom. I can't get back to the meeting. How about
that? Stop screen.
Stop share. That's what I need to do. There we go. All right. So that's the 2 things that I intended to show you. Do anybody have any question about that?
I like that. In fact, some of your copy and source code to use for a newsletter, I think I could do the same thing in Dreamweaver. I spent a lot of time setting up pictures and sizing and centering and text the way I want it to look.
Yep.
And then when I get ready to go and do another thing, I got to reinvent the wheel. Whereas if I came down in my thing and highlighted just exactly what I wanted and then copy and paste the source code, then I could replace just the picture and then go back and fix the text. So I like that idea, and I haven't done that before.
Let me go back to the website. Not that like we just saw Entourage pop in, but let me go back to Pixel. One of the other things that because I don't know how it is with Choir Genius, but with Harmony Site, I can tell you that there are specific requirements for photos. As far as size, a banner has to be a certain size, and it'll let you know when you're uploading that what size they want that to be. So let's say this one needed to be 1080 pixels high. when I can go to image and resize it right now and say it needs to be 1080, and it's going to resize this. Poof. Well, let's say I needed it to be square. Well, I can go to canvas size, and I don't know if it's relative change. Let me see what happens when I do 1080 here. Poof. It's going to be 1080 by 1080, and I want it centered on the top left hand corner, and then poof, I've got a square picture now.
Oh, it did for Chris.
Yeah. And the reason that's important for Dixie District, let's go to the leadership. And you'll see that I've got square pictures for everybody that's in leadership on the website. And that just makes it uniform. It's easier to manage. You don't have to remember, well, what size was that picture? Was it 680 by 420? No, it's square. That's all you need to remember. That's all you need to remember. And that just helps things look uniform. And I did the same thing for Rocket City Chorus. If you go here, yes, I want to leave that page. And I think we're under about officers. Yeah. Poof, square pictures. So easy. And for us, we all wore our chorus shirts for those photos. So that's pretty nice.
Those guys were already square.
Yeah. Especially this one right here, if you know Colin. Most of you do.
My favorite Forester.
I'll be sure and share this video with him too. But I think that's all I had planned to share. So if you've got something you want to know or wondered how to do, I think maybe the only other thing I would share is our website. We have a quartet section, and that's customizable too for the quartets. And you can even give the quartets the ability to have edits on their page. So we show our Rocketeers, extended chords. Oh my goodness, that logo is too big for 8 feet wide. Something happened there. That logo is almost 8 feet wide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my group. Yeah, and boy, he quit me. So I need to. He retired from our quartet, so I'll have to change that. Updates. I went and looked at y'all's websites, by the way. I went and looked at Big Chicken, and I looked at latest news and upcoming events. Y'all are all in same boat. Nobody has updates, and I scrambled to get. Paul can tell you I was peppering him with questions the other day because I wanted to make sure at least that on our calendar we had some things coming up. And upcoming events, you'll be happy to see, Paul, we have upcoming events finally. Yay! There's been nothing there for a year, and I'm sure Choir Genius does this. Let me go back to out of Music Cities and just go. Let's see, do they have upcoming? I know I don't want the dashboard. Let's see, who was Crimson Pride?
We don't have anything.
You don't have anything? Yeah, you do. You've got an events section. So
we got a section. There's just nothing.
There's just nothing there, but that's fine. It shows what's coming up. And so for Dixie District now, you will see upcoming events right here at the bottom of the page. And you will see our latest news is the Leadership Academy. Past that, you got to go 9 months to the spring contest canceled. So, I mean, we just haven't, and the town crier always shows up here when we publish. So, and I will appeal to you webmasters, send me stuff for the town crier.
David, you can look at my page and see events that have already happened.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if you're hosting a chapter show and you've sent in your paperwork to the district, we will make sure it shows up on our upcoming events. So, it's some cross promotion because, I live close to 5 of our chapters that are within easy 2 hour or less driving distance. And that's Stone Mountain, Chattanooga, Choo Choo, Sound of Tennessee, Nashville, and Rocket City. And I would, you know, if there were actual shows going on, I would love to come to those. And, you know, the way I find out about it is going to your websites, but, you know, the way, you know, if we had them published here, it would be great. So anyway, and then there's the lovely smug mug from Tony. That's where I got all of our pictures for the Dixie website. Any questions from anybody or anything else you want to see? Now's a good time to ask.
Just don't make my pictures blurry.
Well, I did for one thing, but I forgot what
Make
it
them
was.
real blurry.
No, I made it real blurry on purpose.
Yeah, don't they call it the beer filter?
Yeah. The cataract filter, I think.
I'm available anytime, folks. If you saw something you like or you're wondering how to accomplish something, if I don't know it, I know somebody that does. I've got two friends that one of them, it's his full-time job doing websites. So, and he does it all from his home, but all over the world. So,
David, will you send me your wallpaper?
Yeah, I'll send you my wallpaper. I made that one.
Yeah, I kind of figured you did, and it looks really good. And I'd like to use something when I'm in.
Yeah, I have wallpapers for every occasion. We can when I'm with Music City, I can do that one. And I use Keynote to make those. When I'm with Rocket City, I can do that one. There's a repeating pattern here.
Uh-huh.
And then if I wanted to represent my quartet, poof, there we go.
There you go.
And then I've got this one. Hang on. Oh yeah. Oh.
Now you're cooking.
So you know, I
went to the SEC school where football players actually get an education.
Vanderbilt. Nice. Well, this is my alumni, so I actually.
No wonder you can do all that stuff.
I would like to claim that Alabama taught me that, but they did not. All my stuff is, believe it or not, because I was a wedding video and event video professional for like 20, 30 years. I'm 48. When I was 16, my dad handed me 2 cameras and said, "We're filming weddings," because he's a wedding photographer.
Nice.
And I mean, I filmed a wedding last year. I haven't filmed very many, but I mean, my claim to fame is I've been to at least 1,000 weddings and ate cake at every single one of them.
Nice.
and that is no lie. And then my other association is with the Boy Scouts of America. I run a multimedia presentation live event group for the Boy Scouts that have done events, and we teach the youth how to do these things, how to build PowerPoints, how to do communications, public speaking. My favorite thing is teaching our new officers in the Boy Scouts. They're all youth. They're 18 years old or 16. And it's called Eat the Mic. If this mic is not touching your chin, you're doing it wrong when you're public speaking, because all of them want to do this right here and it just don't work. You have to eat the mic.
Yep.
So, you know, I've taught them how to do same day turnaround video, capture, video edit, audio, lighting, sound design, you name it. We do everything. We even do graphics and animation. If a youth wants to learn it, we'll teach it to them. And I've got 3 adults besides myself that are just oozing with all kinds of talent, and we just do it all. And that's how I got all these skills over the years. It's taken a long time to develop them, but
well, thank you for sharing with everybody today, and thank you guys for being here. I think we are the only class that is still in session.
That's because our class was
guys. I'm proud of you guys.
Well, we had 2 presenters. We gave Choir Genius an hour and Harmony Side an hour to present the tools that they have for courses to use. Jennifer Champagne from Choir Genius and Mark Harmony the owner for
Mark Virtue.
Harmony, whatever I said, Mark Virtue, yeah.
Yeah.
For Harmony Site. So they each had an hour and they talked exclusively about their products. A lot of similarities, some unique things for both of them. And so I would say the unique thing about Choir Genius, they have an app that you can download on your phone and get access to the music library from, like I've got music. I bought, it was $2.99. I bought the app while she was talking about it. And I have access to Music City's course library that we're learning about.
Too.
It's pretty nice.
Use that extensively. Yeah.
And then one of the nice features about Harmony Site is, Big Chicken Chorus, Rocket City Chorus, and 4 other choruses have Harmony Site. And because they have their membership database, Dixie's also Harmony Site, I can see their membership database.
Gotcha.
So when I needed to find out where Brent was from, first thing I did, I went into the Dixie website and I typed everybody's name, and the only one I saw was Brent's. And I was like, bingo, know where he's from. Because Member Center is down right now. Well, actually, it's coming back up from Barbershop. So,
they are doing a soft launch right now. Some of us do have access to it.
Yeah,
it is better, and that's all I'm going to say.
I've yet to try and log in. I'm a secretary for Rocket City, so I should be able to log in. And
you
then
probably can.
Mm-hmm.
It's Salesforce. So if you have any experience with Salesforce,
no,
it'll be handy. There are some things that are very Salesforce-y.
Okay.
So it's
a commercial off-the-shelf product adapted for Barbershop.
Well, Salesforce is making a huge push into nonprofits.
Okay.
And there are some things that will be very good for the society to use Salesforce. But
all I ask is if the ability to download a spreadsheet is there, please do not put 4 telephones in one cell. That's all I ask.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that will have to be tweaked.
Yeah. Well, guys, do you have anything else? Any questions? Anything?
I'm going to drop out.
Thanks, Paul.
Guys. Appreciate everybody's efforts.
Yes.
And hopefully get a chance to see and sing with you soon.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Oh, yes.
Can't wait to ring some chords. Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Well, thank you for your attention. Y'all hung in here. I'm available all the time. If you have questions, just shoot me an email. I
will add this. I thought during the first hour that when I was asking questions that the other guys were just having to endure while we were talking about Choir Genius. And then when Choir Genius was over, I thought, well, it's a good thing I got mine first. If I get bored, I can drift off. But actually, I found the Harmony Site very interesting.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of similarities, but
they each have their strengths, and they each have some weaknesses. But
and I can find some instances where I might want to use Harmony Site for another choir.
Another project. Yeah.
I will say that I don't have any experience with Choir Genius, but my experience with Harmony Site, the biggest thing for me is the support is phenomenal.
And it sounds like the support's phenomenal for Choir Genius too. So
it's good.
I've never dealt. I'm geek out the wazoo. I have never dealt with a technical company whose support was even close to this. I have yet to find a time of day or night that I can send a request or question and not have an answer within an hour.
Yeah. Choir Genius is similar to that also.
Yeah.
They're good.
Well, if y'all have nothing else, I think it's time to wrap it up. I thank you for your attention and hanging out a little extra. And I hope you really got something out of it. Did everybody get the survey?
Yeah. Did, yes.
If you didn't get the survey from that weird address that Bob sent, I can forward it to you. He sent it to me.
I'll double check and let you know.
Say again?
I said I will double check and let you know.
All right, thank you. And then you should all have my email address because I think I emailed think I emailed all of you. Did I?
I know you emailed me.
Yes.
All right. So it's davidmurphy@me.com. If you can't remember that, webmaster@dixiedistrict.org. That works too. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. It was good being with you.